To those of us who have spent some time on Lamang Island already, we understand that this is a difficult game, filled with challenges, as well as AI that like to rip your head off from just about every direction. There are several difficult areas in the game, and this is your guide to Midnight Saphire. Alright, so for those of you who don't want to listen to me yet for the next 20 minutes, here's your instant guide brought to you by MS Paint. We're going to be landing at Hotel 1 at the star on the right side of your screen and moving down to Elena and Kate and then the safe building, as well as up the mountain to the falls, down to Louisa, into the courtyard, to the hotel, over to the golf club, and then back down to the villas. Here are some arrows and some lines to kind of explain that a little better. This is the direction that we will be taking in order to maximize our profits, as well as take fights that are going to be better for us in order to survive. While you won't be getting the full effect, you will understand the route that I take just based upon this video. This map specifically. Okay, now that we're at Hotel 1, here's the route that I take. There are several spots for campers to be sitting here waiting for you at your LZ. Ensure that you look around to see whether or not they are there. Typically in this game, unfortunately, bushes are impossible to see through, so if there is an LZ camper, this is a pretty rough spot to go. I always land at Hotel 1 and I immediately head south against the white wall that is surrounding the small villas. Running this way will kind of ensure your safety as far as the AI is concerned. Hauling ass through here is just about fine. If you get too close to that white wall and there are enemies on the other side, make sure that you know that sprinting will alert them to your position. They do not have to just see you. However, if you're walking, you have the ability to get closer without them, zapping you immediately. I'm sprinting here because I'm trying to make this video less than 45 minutes, so we're hauling ass. I follow this white wall to the edge. Right at the edge of this is a rock. I typically hold a left peek. Oftentimes there will be enemies in the middle of that road there, as well as the little, courtyard, little bush area to the left. The first building that we're going to be approaching is right here directly in front of us. Inside of this building has several decent weapon and armor spawns. You're going to need the Elena garage key. I'll be showing you what that looks like here shortly. I always stay outside of this little wooden fence. Just kind of a force of habit. No real reason for it. I go around the back here past this iron gate, and I'm going to be jumping over this fence in front of me. Inside of this courtyard there are sometimes up to 3 enemies. Back in that corner, directly right here. And then jumping over this. This building is the Elena building. There's also an enemy that sits over there in that gazebo. In order to get into this room here, you're going to need the Elena garage key. This one here. Inside of the Elena garage are 2 weapon and armor boxes. As far as I know, this is the best helmet and this is the best armor in the game. 3+ and 3A+ for the helmet. In this weapon box, it can spawn an item such as an AK-74U, which will be showing up here right now, as well as Mosins with voodoos on them. From the Elena building, we're going to be immediately heading to the building across the street. This building is named Kate. It requires the Catherine key. Pretty difficult to find. It took me about a week to find that one. Other people have told me it's taken them a day. This game is truly RNG based as far as key drops are concerned. Like I said earlier, this is the Kate building. Looks like somebody opened it already. However, this is the key that you will need to get inside. Inside the building, if you hook a hard left immediately, you can go down the hallway. The last door on your left inside of this room to the left of the bed will be a safe. Looks like somebody hit that as well. Inside of said safe, there will be about $2,000. $2,000 to up to, I've seen $5,000 in that safe. Immediately from this building, we're going to be heading up the hill. This hill here is usually littered with enemies. It looks like somebody cleared it out for us already. Right here at the top of the hill is one typically, and then across the street to the right in the bushes is another. Oftentimes in the villas on the right as well, they can shoot you through the gate. Make sure that you are moving tactically and from cover to cover, because fighting uphill sucks, and you are at a massive disadvantage for these guys. Moving forward and hooking a left into this building. I'm not entirely sure what the name of the building is, but this is a free building. There is no key required to go into it, and there's a free safe inside. Go down the hallway, first door on your left, next to the desk. Heading back outside and up the rest of the hill. There are several enemies that will also be at this villa immediately to your left, up here by the staircase, as well as to the right and all the way down the street. Typically 2 at the end of the street, 1 to the left here and 1 to the right. As well as the gazebo to the left over the cliff. I'm going to point at it right now. Oftentimes there's somebody standing there as well. Now these spawns could often be different, but I've done this run about 50 times, and I always find that 4 is typically what's on the street here. If you aggro them and you're taking too long in the fight, oftentimes the bridge to our left, immediately left, I'm going to be pointing at it here in a second, will have enemies that will help the guys that you're firing at. If this is your first time in the military area or Midnight Saphire, these guys here with the CQA-1s have 5.5 in their weapon. If you're running a 5.56 weapon, your ammo supply is essentially unlimited as long as you continue to loot these bodies. This is the bridge that I was speaking of. Oftentimes there will be guys in the woods to the left of the bridge as well as across the bridge. You're in the military area. One taps are very possible. Just make sure that you're playing it low and slow. Going back into this courtyard, typically there's at least 1 enemy in here. If not, they're back deeper over here by this bar and by the bathrooms over there. They roam relatively often. They like to walk through these big concrete pillars. To the left here is usually 1. There he is right now. See you later. Moving up here, we're going to be heading to the falls. Another enemy down. We're going to be heading up to the falls here. The falls has pretty much a stagnant enemy spawn. Once you get past these barricades here, or these big boulders, you will be walking up the hill. Directly up the hill is going to be these big archways. These archways are kind of just an aesthetic adding thing. You know you're going the right direction if you see these. Following this little trail and heading left. Once you get to the crest of this hill, there's going to be an enemy typically on this hill that I'm pointing at with my weapon. There he is. There's always 1 there. Always at least 1 right here. He can sometimes be to the right, hanging out in the bushes. He's kind of a weirdo. Just make sure that you're looking for him. Going through this archway and then up this hill across this little wooden bridge should typically be another one. Oftentimes he hides in the bush on the right. It's exactly what he's doing right now. Surprised that first burst didn't kill him. Across this bridge to the left is going to be a rock outcropping. Always 2. Typically 1 to the right down to the ledge. Let's see if yep, he's there. And then there's another one up the hill, typically to the left. I'm not sure if I got him. We'll check. Crossing this bridge, this is bridge 1. And then bridge 2. These AI like to bug out for whatever reason. I've caught them flying 45 feet in the air. I've caught them zipping around, and I've died to them many times. Oh shit! Not dead. Enemy down. Okay. Dickhead made me bleed my own blood. These guys are tricky. If you see them bugging out, it's probably for the best of your leave. Moving forward to where I just killed that guy looking down across the lake. This is the Louisa building that we're staring at, or on your map it should say Lakeside Villa. We're heading down there next. Inside of that little compound that I just pointed at, there are typically between 2 and 5 inside of there. I usually go this way and I hug the water until there's a little rock outcropping next to the gate around the building. I use this rock to jiggle peek and see what I'm working with. Oftentimes where I'm standing right now, if you look to your right, you'll be able to see them in the parking lot as well. Give it a little peek. One on the dock. Who the fuck is this guy? Man down. Checking my right, making sure that I don't see any enemies. I'm going to try to get inside the building as fast as possible. This is the Louisa building. It requires the Louisa key. This is it right here. Inside of the Louisa building is a safe in this back right bedroom. Be careful with this window. They can shoot through it. I have no contact, so I'm just going to loot. This is another one of those safes that is between 2 and 5K. Moving outside of this building and keeping my ears open for any hostiles, we're going to make our way into the actual hotel courtyards. Enemy ahead. He's no longer with us. We're going to move forward, peeking right just to be sure. And we're going to walk up to this fence here. We're going to take the water and go around it. And we're going to be moving into this courtyard specifically. Now, the reason I take this direction is because there's a lot of hard cover between you and the enemies. Within this area, you are going to be swarmed, typically. I like to stay behind this little wooden shack, take a right-hand peek, try to get, helmets within my LOS, and then move forward from that shack to this one. Another right-hand peek using my ears. A lot of enemies are going to be right in front of my crosshair. There's one there. He's down. I'm not entirely sure why there aren't a million enemies trying to murder me in my face, but sometimes it'll be like that. I'm assuming that another... Sneaky bastard. I'm assuming somebody else came through here and kind of cleared it out. We're going to find out whether or not that is the case once we get inside the hotel. I'm not seeing a whole lot of corpses, so they probably took the front entrance in. That's where my mind is at right now. This little space right here often has enemies down that alleyway. That little note that just popped up on your screen, I have been fighting this since the game came out, and they just introduced the patch maybe 2-3 days ago. The enemies are now pushing as a unit, especially the military enemies. I had the boss butcher over here, and immediately following him was about 7 enemies. So watch out for group tactics. This little angle here at the pool, I like to take because it gives me the lowest amount of my body showing in order to take the fight. Again, there's no one here. Wait. Now there's no one here. Wait. I got enemies running right as well. Anyway, I like to go inside of here on the first floor because it gives me the tightest angles to take, as well as the ability to aggro all of them at the same time and to hear how many I'm working with. As of right now, I'm not hearing any, and I'm hearing fighting out front, so I'm assuming I have a friendly upstairs. Oftentimes, if you're the only one here and you're the one aggroing them, they will run down these stairs as fast as possible. There is a staircase to the left and to the right of the first floor. Moving up slowly and taking your angles as, peeling your corners as often and as slowly as you can will ensure your survival. It's looking like I was correct, and that we have a teammate here. Inside of here, I like to take a hard left peek, hard right peek immediately, and then go back to cover if I see enemies. I didn't see any, so I'm moving forward. This is the main lobby. To my right, where that little POS system is a cash register, typically with about 1,000 to 2,000 bucks. Inside of this room, this is the MS office key. Immediately to my right is a safe on that countertop. You just saw it. That is the best probably safe in the game. $5,000 to $8,000 in that thing, as well as a decked out block and a weapons case in here. Same weapons case that was in the Atlanta garage room. Inside of this room, this doesn't really have anything to do with survival or anything I really hit, considering that there's no loot in it. But this is the MS supply closet key. You're going to need that for a quest later on. The room is kind of tricky to find if you don't know where it is. going out into the front entryway of the hotel. Yep, friendly. Friendly's having issues, hang on. I'm having issues, hang on. Alright, hand down. From here, I typically will head left back into the villas. Spit the bullets, man. You ain't gonna take them with you. I usually go down this staircase here, this little side building in the front of the entranceway. This is a staircase that will lead outside, and then you can cross the street back to the villas. I'll show you how I get there now. This is another way to approach this building if you don't feel like taking the route that I just showed you. If you have a buddy, somebody can watch the bottom of the stairs, somebody can watch the top. Oftentimes you will be rushed by several enemies from every direction. So if you're going to take this way, I would recommend bringing a teammate. As a solo player, I only go the direction that I usually come, that I've been showing you so far. Moving this way, there is a set of stairs that you'll be able to take to go back to the villas. This is also a good way to check if there are enemy PMCs inside of the building. You can overlook the main buildings, i.e. Kate and Safe and somewhat of Elena Garage. But we're going to go back this way so I can show you guys another route I'm taking if I'm trying to farm gear. We're going to go down the opposite set of stairs, being wary of this parking lot because there are typically several enemies here. You also have the ability to look over to the golf club, or the clubhouse, in order to check to see what kind of enemies you're working with. If you haven't been sprinting and you haven't aggroed them, you can just kind of pick them off if you have a scope, or you have eagle eyes like me, because I'm nuts. Random helmet spawning there on the ground. Enemy dead ahead. There's also one on my left. I just heard him move. Enemy down. Enemy down. Immediately following this position, we're going to head to the right to the clubhouse. Inside of the clubhouse, there are several decent spawns, but I will show you how I usually approach it. Being wary of both my left and my right. Oftentimes enemies... Oh, there's a dead body right there. To the right and to the left. They kind of mosey around on the street for whatever reason. This is the right side of the approach. I'm going to go to the left and show you guys another medical spawn that many people don't know about. Being careful to be, checking the areas and bushes. Son of a bitch. Sneaky fucking bastard. God damn it. Okay, now that my arm is taped back on, we're going to go up this stair here, these set of stairs here. This area I like to call the front gate. This area typically has anywhere between 4 and 8 enemies. Immediately following taking those enemies out, right here is a military medical crate. Inside of this, you're going to find decent stims. I think if I remember correctly, my role here was trash. You can get cases to put meds in, fentanyls, stims. I usually use this box to farm Strix, which is the maximum stamina stim. Maybe shoot him in the head there, pal. Moving forward, we're going to work our way into the clubhouse, being sure to watch out for enemies to our left, to our right. Oftentimes, they'll be right there at the front door that I'm circling, right here in this awning. And then they like to mosey around as well in this wooded area. The call out for this building is the clubhouse. It's a golf clubhouse. Moving in. 2 hostiles, hang on. 2 down. This building here is usually teeming with enemies. This door directly in front of me as of right now is the GC storage key. This one right here. Inside of this room is essentially a mirrored image of the Elena Garage key as far as cases are concerned. This is the best armor and helmet again. I'm actually going to take these this time. And then another weapons box. There's that Mosin I was talking about earlier, with the voodoo on it. As well as some armor penetrating, best ammo in the game for 7.62. This room has 2 key uses you can use to get into the actual clubhouse itself. This building will have enemies inside of it as well as teaming outside of there by the golf carts. In here there are 2 cash registers. These are better cash registers than Bonpa and other places like that. These typically spawn about $1,000 to $2,000. Anywhere between $600 and $1,000, typically. Sometimes you get a lucky roll. that an enemy to my right too? Yep. Click. Behind this bar here is another cash register. Moving back out the way that we came, we're going to go out this back door here and head back over across to the main gate. If you want to get out from here, you have two options. You can go to Foxtrot 1 over by Hunter's Paradise, or you can head south to Hotel 3. I typically will redo villas just because by this point, if I've had to fight everything, you'll be here for at least 20 to 30 minutes, and at that point, the safes that you hit at the beginning of your raid probably have respawned. So I typically like to turn around and go back and hit those again, following this path, and retracing our footsteps, hoping to not have to fight any more enemies to raise our chances of survival. Oftentimes, like I said earlier, the AI, since the update will push in waves, if one of them aggroes you from the ramp that's directly to my left, as of right now, you may have a group of them waiting for you to return back to where they were. The AI acts as though they act upon last seen information. So if they see you run behind cover, they will spray that cover down unless you move. So once you get the cover, you're going to want to continue to move. I like to use this little area because it blocks line of sight from enemies from my left. And I'll go down this little walkway until I get to the bridge. That will take me to the stairs down to the villas again. Kind of a leisurely walk. Most of the time there aren't enemies up here. However, I have seen one or two. The AI in this game is very dynamic and very unpredictable. Keeping my eyes peeled and making sure that I have hard cover available at any given time. The difference between cover and concealment is that concealment is something that can be shot through. Cover is something that will not be shot through. You can hide behind both, and both will defend you from the enemy's eyes being able to see you. But, you know, don't get shot through cover. Anyway, if you have taken 20 to 30 minutes clearing out the entire hotel, if you're solo like me, typically these enemies will have respawned by now, but I've been hearing fighting over here, so I'm just going to assume that they are no longer here. Pushing back to this area, we're going to be walking through this area here, crossing this bridge, keeping our eyes on our right and our left. For those of you that don't know, if you look to your right here and you have a less than stellar PC, your game will try to render everything to your right, including those mountains and everything below it, and you will feel a massive drop in frames here. Moving forward, this is the Elena key again to our right. We'll be going in there and checking for loot again if we have any space left in our bag. I'm going to call about early.
Raven en route to Hotel 1.
Back to Hotel 1. My route for Midnight Saphire is often a big circle, and this is the route that I take. Like I said earlier, these safes have probably respawned by now. However, in the idea of time, we're just going to head to extract. You could hit Kate and safe again. There are other keys that have safes in them, but typically I don't have those keys as of right now, so I typically leave them out of my loot run. If you hit all of those safes, to include Kate, the safe building, the one inside of the office, all of the cash registers, and then hit the Kate and the safe room again, I typically walk out of here between anything with $20,000 to $30,000, which will greatly increase your ability to buy weapons and armor. As of right now, the game doesn't really have any gear for you because everything is relatively cheap. So as of right now, I would run the best gear, which I do, in order to ensure your survival in PvP as well as AI encounters. We're going to take the exact same route that we took to get down to Elena Garage at the beginning, and then head back up to the radio tower and call a bird. Typically, I am a Mithras, so I have to sit here for anywhere between 4 and 7 minutes to wait for a chopper. If you are one of the other factions, I would assume it's much quicker because it's a lot closer. This area here, like I said at the beginning, I'm going to give you guys a better look at where to look for enemies. Up this hill directly in front of us is typically where they will lay and wait. You also have this area that I'm going to hide in right now. It gives you a pretty decent little angle on where they're going to land. I hate LZ campers. I TK those motherfuckers as often as I can, but it's a part of the game until something is introduced to make that stop. We'll see how it goes. Looks like my bird's here. hopefully this guide helped you guys in some kind of way. If you're coming here solo, typically you're going to be fighting several more enemies than I had to. But luckily for me, and for the idea of time, we're good to go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys catch me on the next one. Let me know in the comments where you guys want to go next, and maybe hit that sub button. I appreciate you guys. Happy hunting.